Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Autumn Poppy Designs podcast. My name is Paula, and I am coming to you from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. So, it's been a minute. I feel like I always say that, but that's okay. I wanted to hold off and do this podcast end of the month, start of the month, because I've been reading a lot. So, I wanted to just kind of give you a rundown of everything I read this month because it's been a lot, at least for me. I know by some standards it's not a lot at all, but for me, who is reading only 1 to 2 books a month, I've read 6. I'm going to try and beat that record this month, but anyway, let's get started with knitting because this is first and foremost a knitting podcast. So welcome back. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm just really glad to have you here. Let's get started. So I've been knitting on mostly socks. And when I say mostly, I mean just socks. I have been working on my jigsaw shawl by Stephen West. But I've only added another section, so I just don't think that's worth showing. But I will start off with an FO because I have one. My Circus Socks. These are finally done. So I knit the second sock just last week. I already got photos of it. I have it in test knitting and it should be releasing next Friday, I think. Yeah, next Friday. So I'm really excited about that. I have proper photos done. I had my mother-in-law, I guess. My father-in-law's wife, so my other mother-in-law, not Brandon's mom. She's my sock model because we have the same size foot and it's just easier to get exactly the pictures I want. And she has skinnier calves than me, so this portion of the pattern does not get distorted as it would on my foot. So we got some cute photos of those. And I will give you the specs on these. So they are cuff down. I used 4 colors. This color is really only in the cuff because it's a 20-row cuff, so I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough to do this portion in both socks, so I just did that. And then there's the pink, the purple, the yellow, then the pink again. Then I did a 2-color heel because I think they're just so fun. So it's a heel flap gusset and then some color work around the toe. That's it. So yeah, I like to go up a needle size when I do the color work because I'm still learning about tension when I'm knitting color work. I do spread my stitches and you can see here that it is a little bit bigger, but I have such a hard time pulling socks over my heel. My heels are so dry. And moisturize as I will, they're just always dry. So I find just having that extra bit of room prevents it from like scratching and ripping. So yes. And then I didn't go up a needle size here because I can spread my stitches far enough and the pattern is simple enough that it just doesn't really matter. So yeah. Anyway, next Friday. Oh, the yarn. So I like to, when I'm designing and if a pattern pops into my head, I have to do it right away. Like right away. So I knit from stash. So these are minis from Vicky Brown Designs, and she's in the UK, and she designs crochet sock patterns, which is just phenomenal. But these are, I got really lucky with these because I ordered her mystery minis. They're very affordable. You just don't know what you're getting. So with the shipping from the UK and everything, they're very, very affordable. And I like the mystery because all of her colorways are so beautiful. They're all very bright and fun. So I'm never really worried about what I get. So yeah, these came a couple months ago. When I say a couple months, I mean like, I think I ordered them in January sometime. So I got lucky. And then this is Fog from Camp Fiber Yarns, and it's leftover from my Silver Bells mittens design. And believe it or not, I still have yarn left over from that, so maybe it'll make its way into my jigsaw. Then I have two half-finished objects. The first is this sock. This is for B. It's a cuff down vanilla sock. The colorway is Dean from Area 51 Fibers. It's a self-striping yarn, and these again are mystery minis from Vicky Brown Designs. And you can see I messed up the heel a bit here. I was doing Eye of Partridge, but I messed it up because it looks fine on this side. You can see where it corrected itself again. So this sock I knit as a sample for my cuff down sock pattern, which is now available on Patreon. And it goes hand in hand with the sock school I ran last year. So I had the pattern written out and it was all there, but I didn't have cohesive photos. I had just used photos I had on hand from other cuff down socks I had done. So now there's proper photos with each step. So like just the cuff and just the leg and the heel turn and the gusset and the toe and the foot. So that's all there. And then it's been tech edited and it is now available for anyone who joins Patreon. It's free. So yeah, and this is the longest leg I have ever knit, but he loves it, so we're good. And then the other sock I have is this one, and this is a sock set from Area 51 Fibers and the low-key colorway. And I just love these colors together so much. It is so fun. So these are toe up, and the cuff down sock school was run this year and the toe up sock school was run last year. My bad. Anyway, so I am so all over the place. I do apologize. Okay. The cuff down sock school I ran this year and I didn't have a pattern written up, but it is now available. And the toe up sock pattern was written up, but wasn't cohesive. So now it's all one. There you go. So, toe up. Managed to mess up the Eye of Partridge again. I don't know what happened. I just must have been knitting in the dark is all. But yes, toe up, heel flap gusset decreases, and then the 1x1 rib for the cuff. So again, the recipe or the pattern really gives you instructions for every part, and it has pictures for every single part so you can see what it's supposed to look like when you're knitting it. And there are videos, and the pattern and the videos are all linked together so you can watch the video step by step, and then you can follow the instructions and things like that. So yes and both of those are available on Patreon for any subscribers, as well as the sock school, and as long as you're a member you have access to all of it. So yes, really have to stop saying that. Okay. Oh, the cat got into my stuff again. Let's see, is there anything else to mention about that? Oh, I will be publishing both those I'm calling them recipes, but my tech editor said not to call those recipes because it is a pattern with full instructions. So those patterns will be published on Ravelry, but I will be charging a fee for them because they are available for free on Patreon. But yes, I don't know what I was going to say there. Yeah, so if you want them for free and you want access to the sock school with the full videos, then you do have to join Patreon. If you just want the pattern, then you can get them on Ravelry. Yes. Okay. The other thing that's happening on Patreon right now is a test knit for my other sock design. Like I said, lots of socks, just socks in this video. And this is the Starry Night Socks using the Starry Night Sock set from Camp Fiber Yarns, which is the Van Gogh painting. So I talked about these last time, but I'll mention it again. They are cuffed down. There's a bit of color work around the foot or the leg of the sock. I did knit them a little shorter so that I could admire the design on my calf. Heel flap gusset. There's very slight texture on the foot and leg of the sock. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's these little bumps, and I wanted them to be like the brush strokes because I find his paintings, the way he does the brush strokes is very textured, and it feels like it doesn't feel flat or smooth. It feels bumpy. So that's what I did with the rest of the sock, and then I just did the toe in the yellow. So that's one done, and I am now working on the second one. I'm actually just past the gusset decreases. Sorry, there we go. And I'm working the foot. Yeah, so the test knit call for the pattern already went out. I haven't had any takers yet, so I'm still holding on there, but I will release a general call if there are no interested parties on Patreon, and hopefully that'll be early next week, like Monday, Tuesday, probably Tuesday. So yeah, and then because we were going away for the long weekend, naturally, I needed some new socks to work on. I had just gotten some yarn in the mail from Brian Dyeworks, and I mean, this is called Sea Glass, and she was having a clearance sale, so I grabbed it. But with it, I grabbed this. It's called Bosque Pear, and it is a colorway we kind of developed together. So I put those two together because I thought they went together so well, and they do. Because you know how pictures on a computer can be very deceiving. So I was very, very happy when I was right. And this is what I've got so far. And this is probably it for this sock. The rest is just going to be vanilla. But I did a twisted rib and then this little pattern here. And it's interesting because when you look at it like this, I've been told it looks like wheat. And in my mind, I was trying to go for like shards of glass because this is called sea glass, and trying to do like a nautical theme thing going. Obviously didn't work out, but I still love it. And now when I look at it like this, it looks like broomsticks. So I might have to name it something along those lines and release it sometime in September because, to be fair, I'm not gonna have this ready for testing anytime soon. I have a lot of other things I'm still working on, so yeah, I think we're gonna go with something broomsticky. But I love it. I really do love it. And it took me about 5 different tries to figure it out and get it just right, but I am very, very happy with it. So, trying to decide how tall I want it, how tall I want the sock for me, and then trying to decide if I want to add any more details. If I want a colored heel or if I just want a colored toe, you know. I also need to figure out what I did here because I did not write down any of the instructions. So yeah, that'll be fun. And then the other sock design that I brought up with me is for a full, oh no, I grabbed the wrong bag. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. It's over here. It's for a full colorwork sock. I've been wanting to design one of those for a while, and I finally started, and I love the colors. I found these at, I think it's called Hand Knit Yarn Studio. It's in Hamilton. And this is Isagar. I don't know how to pronounce it. Tweed. So it is, I think it's 70% merino, 30% mohair, and it's very tweedy. Let's see if I can make that focus a bit better. But yes, in love. It's got a, oh, sorry. I don't know why that did that. It's got a very hand spun feel to it. It's thick and thin, so that's interesting. But it's working out fine. And this is what I have so far. I did a short little cuff. Oh, it's the window behind me. I'm sorry. I did a short little cuff, and now we're working the chart, which I have printed off. Yeah, so the chart is about this long. This long. And it's just going to repeat until you're done the sock. That's really it. I will do a short row heel, I think. I don't know, but probably. Maybe I'll try to figure out the heel flap, but I think I might just do a short row heel just for ease. But again, we will see. We will see. Okay, I have to, there we go. Hopefully that's okay now. Sorry, I have to bend over one more time. Okay, I have one more sock to show you. And I knit this, I haven't blocked it yet or woven in the ends. But I knit this because, well, I wanted scrappy socks, and I have a lot of scrap yarn left over from when I did design the watercolor socks. So I wanted to use it all up in another pair of socks because I had just enough yarn to do that. And then when I was designing the Patreon exclusive sock, I did a little color work detail that I really enjoyed, and I wanted to put that into a scrappy sock, but I don't know if it's worth putting out as a pattern, because while I enjoyed it, others just might not be interested. So let me know what you think. I'm gonna pose it as a question on Instagram as well, but this is what I have. So it's a colorwork sock, in that it's just colorwork changes, but it's a It's just around the leg of the foot of the sock going into the toe. I didn't see, I wanted to start it here. Then I was like, oh no, there's the gusset. I don't know what to do there. I'm just gonna skip it. So that's how it turned out. And I do love it. It makes me very happy. I used all the colors. I actually worked out the math to figure out exactly how many colors, if I could use all the colors, how many repeats to do just in there. And yeah, so if I do this as a pattern, I would include those instructions on how to figure it all out. So yeah, I don't know. I really like it. It's very simple. But let me know what you think. Because there are a lot of scrappy sock patterns out there. And I know Northwoods Knit Co. designs them all the time. So, yeah. I don't know. I like it. I'm going to knit the second one. And they're a nice little pair of shorties for the summer. So, yeah. How gorgeous is this tiny little Rifle Paper Bag Co. Rifle Paper Co. bag. There we go. I won this in a giveaway from Nitty Natty. And it makes me so happy because I love this fabric so much. Okay. That's it for knitting for me. I feel like I flew through that and I do apologize. But I just get so excited, you know? Yeah. So, books. Let's talk about some books because I've been obsessed. I've been on a buying binge and I just need to stop. I actually have 5 more books coming. Yeah. Anyway, so last month, sorry. Okay. So last month I read 6 books. Here is 5 of them. And one of them is on my Kobo. The first book I finished was The Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz. And it was so good. This was the perfect book to read after my Agatha Christie binge because, well, he writes like Agatha Christie. So I thought that was really great. He had, it's a book within a book, and I talked about it in my last podcast too, but so I apologize. But it's a book within a book, and you're reading this story this author put out because it's from the editor's perspective. So she's reading the copy of this book, and turns out there's a couple, like the last chapter's missing, and then the author of the book dies under mysterious circumstances, and then she becomes like her own little private investigator and tries to figure out what happened. So you're going with her to figure out what happened. And it's really fun having that first person perspective of solving a crime. Because, well, she's no crime expert and she's no detective or anything. So you're pretty much like doing this with her. I really enjoyed that because it was so personal almost. I don't know. It's like you were there. You were walking with her doing this together. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. So it is a big book. For me anyway, after reading a bunch of Christie's. It's 400 something pages. 480 I think it is. 490. Ooh, almost 500. But yeah, it was a huge book for me because Agatha Christie's books are like 250 to 350, so big difference. Anyway, there is another one. I do have it. It's called The Moonflower Murders, and same kind of story. You're the editor. Well, you're not the editor. It's about the editor, and she goes on another crime-solving spree. Because one of the books that this crime writer, Alan Conway, wrote is foreshadowing or mentioning another crime that happened. So kind of the same thing as happened in this one, but yeah. I have it. I have to read it. And he has another series called, what does he call it? I don't know. Actually, I don't know what he calls it, but it's, the word is murder. And basically he works with like a Sherlock Holmes kind of character. It's basically Sherlock Holmes and Watson, but he changes their names a bit, and he is the Watson, and Horowitz places himself in the book as Watson. So there's 4 of those. So yeah. After that, I finished Murder in Mesopotamia, which is an Agatha Christie. It's a Parwa. It was good. It was not my favorite, but it was the June choice for Read Christie 2022. So yeah, so I'll just read you a quick synopsis of the back. It is clear to Amy that something sinister is going on at the Hassaneh dig in Iraq, something associated with the presence of lovely Louise, wife of celebrated archaeologist Dr. Ledner. In a few days' time, Hercule Poirot is due to drop in at the excavation site, but with Louise suffering from terrifying hallucinations and tension within the group becoming almost unbearable, Poirot might just be too late. So, most of her Poirot novels are written from the perspective of a person who's associated with the crime that took place. They're never really written from his perspective. He's just kind of the secondary character almost. So the crime is always very interesting because it's never what you would expect. I'm always thrown for a loop. I'm also just not very good at crime solving, so I don't have very much experience. But I find she does a very good job of misleading you and making you think it's something completely different, and then throwing it in your face and you being like, what? So, this one did that. It was a little far-fetched, I guess. Like, the way the murder was committed was almost impossible. So, yeah. And then I guess I just maybe didn't really enjoy the person who was telling the story. And it felt like it dragged on a little bit. But other than that, it was great. And I do love the ones that take place somewhere far away and mysterious, like Mesopotamia or Egypt or, things like that. Because she did travel to these places. So the way she's writing about it is the way it would have been in her time, which is also very, very interesting. After that, I read 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. And see, I loved it. Hold on. It is, how big is it? It's not a very big book, at least. Oh, it's these sleeves. I don't love these sleeves. It is 320 pages. So no, it's not very big. It feels big because it's taller than most books. But anyway, I devoured this in about 2 days. And if you've read Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, you probably will enjoy this book. If you want to read this book, I recommend you read And Then There Were None first, because they're pretty much one and the same, and her book is referenced throughout this novel so many times, like so many times. And it's very much the same book. It's different. Like, there's very different things. Like, I mean, the location's different, the whodunit is completely different, but it's very, very interesting because you basically, what happens is, instead of everybody being called to an island, they get a note. And at the beginning of the book is a list of all the characters and who they are and where they are. And then each chapter starts off like this. And then there's like, I don't want to give away too much because it is really, really good. So the book is like sectioned, and then there's chapters within each section. Hold on, I'm trying to find another section. It's like a countdown. So then there's like 5. But yeah, it's like a countdown. It was really good. I liked it. A lot of people didn't, and I think that might be because it's simple. It's very simple. Like, it's the murders, the way they happen are complicated, and they're very interesting, and nobody knows what's going on or how everybody's connected or anything. But it's just simply written, and a lot of people couldn't get into it from the reviews I was reading on Goodreads anyway. A lot of people were saying they couldn't connect with the characters, but that's not what you're supposed to be doing with this book. You're just supposed to read it for the murders, basically. I mean, you're not supposed to build a bond or a relationship with any of these characters because their lives within this book are just so short-lived. You don't really have to feel anything for them. You just read the book, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's like watching a 3-part series versus a 3-season series, I guess. I mean, everything is fast-paced, things are happening quickly, and I loved it because it was so fast. It was so, you just wanted, like, what's next, and what's next, and then one more page, and one more chapter, and one more section, and oh my god, I'm done. So it was really, really good, and the ending was really quite good. I did really enjoy it, but I do recommend that you read And Then There Were None first. Or watch it. There's a really good 3-part series through BBC. They did a very good job with it. But yeah, really good. So I actually ended up getting another one of his books, which I will talk about in a minute. So after that, I went completely left field and read Serpent and Dove, which is, I think it is a YA. It's a YA fantasy. I was walking around Indigo trying to see what else to pick up, and I came across this book, so I grabbed it. It was good. It was very big. This is a almost 520 page book, and I read it in 3 days, I think it was. So, I mean, it wasn't bad. It's about this girl who's a witch, and there are witch hunters, and it's like this whole universe and everything, but they are forced to marry to save face. There's an evil Catholic Church. There's an evil king. and her story comes out, and it turns out she's got this whole like past, and the world building in this was actually really good. I did enjoy that. Everything was explained thoroughly enough. There's good action throughout it. I don't know, I really like the characters. And the book is like every other or every third chapter is from either his perspective or her perspective, which I really enjoyed. The characters are very believable. Yeah, my friend let me borrow the second and the third because she said they kind of just go downhill after the second and after the first and after the first. So I am reading the second one right now, but I had to kind of take a break from it because I was getting very, very annoyed with the male character. I don't know if I want to keep going, but she said that the second book is okay, the third is not great, and the story could have kind of ended after the first, which I agree with her. I mean, they left it, Shelby Mahurin? She left it kind of open-ended so that the story could continue. And it does, obviously it does. But I'm like almost 200 pages in and nothing's really happened yet. So I feel like maybe a third book wasn't entirely necessary. But yeah, if you are gonna read the series, just read the first book. It's good. It's really good. I did like it. I really did like it. It's not super fast paced, but just enough to keep you to keep you going. And yeah, it starts off with a bang. Like, they're pretty much committing a crime right as you open the book and start reading. So that was really interesting to get you hooked. But yeah, also the artwork. I really do love the artwork. Yeah. So yeah, and then Blood and Honey is the second one. And then it's Gods and Monsters is the third. So yeah, after I finished that book, I read another Christie, which was like day and night. Appointment with Death. This one was weird. It's another Hercule Poirot, but like I said, they're not written from his perspective. So this one is about a girl who goes to Petra on vacation, and she comes across a very strange family, and then the family's mom or matron, because she's like a stepmom, but one of the kids is hers. She dies under very suspicious circumstances, and the ending, or the person who committed the crime left field, didn't see it coming. I had to read it twice because I didn't believe it, and then it was over. But it had a very happy ending. And she was very evil woman. Like, it made me mad reading about her and all of the things she did. So it was interesting that way. And again, it's another adventure story, and it happens while on vacation. So yeah, it was really, really good. And then after that, I snuck in one more book. Actually, I didn't sneak it in. I could have finished one more book, but I was kind of I hit a bit of a slump. I didn't know what to read next, and I was kind of like, I started reading Blood and Honey, and it just wasn't doing it for me. And then I started reading another book that was kind of just like, let's go, let's get the action going, and nothing was happening, so I put that down. And then I started reading The Murder of Mr Wickham for our book club on Patreon. But I put that down for a few days too, because I was knitting, and then I was not reading, I was just knitting. So yes. But the book I did manage to read just before the slump hit was A Touch of Darkness. It is by something St. Clair. I think that's what it is. And it is a Persephone and Hades retelling. It was actually really, really good. I do like how she changed the characters to be modern. I like how they ended up in the relationship and everything that came out of it, and how she grew as a character and his portrayal. Yeah. So there's also A Touch of Malice, A Touch of Chaos, and A Touch of something else. There's like 3 more books after the series, but I was reading reviews on Goodreads again, and nah, I don't want to read them. I'm kind of really happy with how the book ended, and the characters are supposed to get married, so that's what the 2nd or 3rd book is about, but I'm fine with where it left off. Like, I mean, they're together. They ended up together in the end, so it's just like, I'm good. We don't really need to drag this out for another 3 books. So, but yeah, it was really, really good. I think that's all I have to say about that one. So yes, I did read that one, and then I ordered a few more books, which I will share with you. I put in an order through Goodreads, Indigo, because they were having a sale. So I grabbed these 4 books, because this one, Indigo and Instagram and advertising, it's just awful. This one was on for like $12. So I was like, oh, okay, it sounds really good. I'll get it. Probably should have read reviews, because apparently it's not that great. I'll read it anyway. I'll probably read it next, because I seem to be with my genres. So after reading Serpent and Dove, I read Appointment with Death because I wanted to read it, but it didn't hit the spot. So I read A Touch of Darkness, which was another fantasy, and I really enjoyed that. And I think that's why I was kind of in a slump for a bit too, because I wanted to read something else that was kind of like it, but I ended up going to 2 other books that just weren't that interesting. So anyway, wow, I'm losing books everywhere. Anyway, so when this order came in, I read this one, and I really wanted to read this book because I'd been seeing it all over Instagram, and it was really good. If you like smutty books, then definitely read this. But if you don't, then don't read this, because it was a lot. And I mean a lot. Like every other chapter, every 3rd page almost, it was a lot. But it's such a small book. It only took me a day to read it. I don't know. It was good. It was a murder mystery. It was a rom-com. It was a rom. It was, yeah, no, I actually really did enjoy it. There could have been more crime solving, but it was fine. It was just a lot of smut. So that was interesting, but it was really good. I did like it a lot. I did order her 2 other books, and that's what's coming, is the Hook, Line, and Sinker and It Happened One Summer, because I do like her writing style. But she is self-published. I was looking at the book, and there is no actual like publisher or anything. It's just her. So I thought it was interesting that Indigo carried it, because they don't carry a lot of self-published titles, if any. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, like I said, it's a very small book. It's only 290 pages, so it was a very quick read. The chapters are nice and short, and yeah, it's a very stiff book though. Like, it's so small. Anyway, yes. I also got the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because it seems to be super popular, but also because I did actually want to read this. It just seems really interesting, and I do want to know. Like, I'm curious. I'm very curious, so I do want to read it. Colleen Hoover is just huge on Bookstagram. So this was the first one I picked up because it's more of like a crime story, which I was all about. And then I grabbed It Ends With Us because that one also seemed very popular. And then I was reading the reviews for a few of her other books, and it seems like she's just all over the place in terms of like love-hate relationships with people reading her books. So either you love her stuff or you don't. So I should probably read these before I buy more. So yeah. Also, working at a hotel, I swear every 3rd room I was in had this book. So it was like a sign that I should read it, because I like to see what other people are reading. So yeah. And then nope, that was it. That was it for that. The other Peter Swanson book that I grabbed was Every Vow You Break, which is a murder mystery, because he writes just murder mysteries. And it has to do with a lady on her wedding day and some guy from a one-night stand, which is interesting. Let me read it to you. So Abigail Baskin never thought she would fall in love with a millionaire. Then she met Bruce Lamb. He's a good guy, stable, level-headed, kind, a refreshing change from her previous relationships. But right before the wedding, Abigail has a drunken one-night stand on her bachelorette weekend. She puts the incident and the sexy guy who wouldn't give her his real name out of her mind. And now she believes she wants to be with Bruce for the rest of her life. Their honeymoon on a luxurious, secluded island in Maine will be the beginning of their blissful lives together. Then the mysterious stranger suddenly appears, and Abigail's future life and happiness are turned upside down. He insists that their passionate night was the beginning of something much, much more, something special, something real, and he's tracked her down to prove it. So, does she tell Bruce and ruin their idyllic honeymoon and possibly their marriage, or should she handle this psychopathic stalker on her own? To make the situation worse, strange things begin to happen. She sees a terrified woman in the shadows one night, and no one at the resort seems to believe anything is amiss, including her perfect new husband. So yeah, I thought that sounded fun, different. Again, it could not be different. I just haven't been reading books in a very long time, so I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, I really do like his style of writing, and this looks like another quick read. So I'm excited for that. Yes. I also grabbed a couple books from, oops. I am so sorry about the screen going dark. I do apologize. But I grabbed a couple books from Value Village, which is a thrift store. And I got this one. It's An Unwanted Guest by Shari Lapena. Then I grabbed The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware because I do enjoy Ruth Ware's writing and I've been wanting to read that. And then I got The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. I want to read her book, The Paris Apartment, but I saw this and I was like, well, I'm just going to get that because it is $3 and why not? So The Woman in Cabin 10 has been around for a long while. This is a new to me author, but it sounded really, really good. And apparently her other books are really good. So we'll see how that goes. And this one, it's about a New Year's reunion in the remote Scottish wilderness. And it's about 7 people. One of these friends is a murderer and one won't make it out alive. Now, who doesn't want to read that? So yeah. And then I have a couple other books I grabbed because, again, they are all over TikTok and people are enjoying them. So I got this by Jennifer. And it's the Blood and Ash series. This is a very heavy book. I grabbed this one because, again, apparently it's the book to read. So, yeah. And then I grabbed this one after watching Hello Stella's podcast. And there's 2 more books, but it's like I will read the first one and then we'll go from there. Because there's nothing worse than spending money on a whole entire series and hating the first book. So yeah. Also, I really just didn't want to spend the money on a whole entire series, so we will gradually purchase books. Also, look how beautiful that is. Yeah, because I bought this book. This book was only $20 when I got it. And the whole entire series is like $150. No, I'm lying. No, it's not. That was her other series. The Throne of Glass series, that box set was $150. I think this one was $80. Because there's 4 books. Anyway, I think it was actually just on sale for $60. So I was kind of mad about that. Because I could have gotten the whole entire series. Because it's 40 books. It's 4 books for $60. Or each book for $25. So yeah. Oh well. And I dropped a book. What book did I drop? Oh yeah. Oh no, I already mentioned that one. It's The Long Weekend by... Is it Ruth Ware too? I don't remember. Anyway, it's on the ground. It's over there. I don't want to get up. But yeah. I also have a whole bunch of other books that I got that I have to read. I got Kingdom of the Wicked. I got the Atlas 6 book. I got a whole nother murder mystery series. I think I actually shared a bunch of those with you last time. But yeah, I have the Parwa book to read for this month too. But for Read Christie 2022, this month's book is At the Bertram Hotel, and it's a Miss Marple. And I don't really like Miss Marple, so I didn't want to pick that one up. Instead, I am going to read Evil Under the Sun, which I have on my Kobo. And oh my god, don't make me get started on all the books I have on my Kobo. Because I must have bought like 6 or 7 recently. I have 2 by Lisa Jewell. I have a whole bunch of other ones. I I can't even tell you what they are. I did get the Doors of January because that one was only $2.99 or something like that. So I'm excited for that one. I got the X Hex too because that seems like a really cute book. So yeah. I love physical books. I do. I so much. But the Kobo is so great too because A, they're cheaper. B, I can actually rent library books on my Kobo too, which is really exciting. And C, it's just so much easier to knit and read with. So, yeah. Okay. I think that's it for me. Now I have to clean up this mess and put all my books away. But, oh, I didn't mention, sorry. I am reading The Murder of Mr Wickham. That's the book I'm on right now. So I just finished My Killer Vacation. So that's book 1 for this month, and now I'm on this one. And this is actually really good so far. It's just cute, I think, is kind of what I'm gonna go with. It's very much written in the style of Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. Like, she's actually used a few phrases now that I've picked up on that I thought were just kind of, it just made me happy reading them. Like, it was fun. I am not very far in. The murder just happened. Like, we're 120 pages in. But for a bit there, I was getting confused because I haven't read Mansfield Park or Northanger Abbey or Emma. So her talking about those characters and like reintroducing them was very helpful, but I was also just trying to keep track of who was who, and that was confusing me. But now that we're past that, I'm good. So yeah. But yeah, so now we're focused on Juliet and Jonathan? I think that's his name. Yes, Jonathan, who are the two main characters in this story as they're going through trying to solve the murder. So because we got past all the other characters, I am very happy now, and I am just flying through this book. Hopefully I'll be done within the next like 2 days, and then I can just wrestle with myself in trying to decide what I want to read next, which will probably be a murder mystery because I have a lot of those that I want to read. And because I've read one murder mystery, I can go on to read more until I get bored, and then I switch genres. Yes. I am also very impatiently waiting for my new books to arrive because I want to read them so bad. Can we please have more hours in the day to read books? That would make me very, very happy. Also, not working at night. Working from 6:30 on and coming home and just wanting to lay in bed and read books, but it's already like 11 o'clock and I have to be up with the kids by 7. It's just, there will be that one day when I stay up till 1 a.m. reading, and it will be awful, but it'll also be fantastic. So yeah. Theo's home for the summer, obviously. And it's been okay. Penny goes down for her naps, and I force him to go for quiet time in his room. And we went on a library adventure this morning, which was very interesting. It wasn't half as bad as I thought it would be, because the library is about a 20-minute walk for us from the house. And we left at 8:30, and the library doesn't open at 10. I don't know what I was thinking. Apparently I thought it was going to take us an hour and a half to walk there, which obviously it didn't. So we got to the park and we hung out at the park, which was, it's just there's no creative in the park, so they were just running around and playing. And there is a splash park, but we didn't have our bathing suits, and it was still kind of chilly this morning, which is why I decided we should go, is because it was chilly. Anyway, Penny fell, scraped her knee really bad. So much blood. And that was interesting. So we had to sit on the bench outside the library for a solid 10 minutes before they opened the doors. And finally I got her cleaned up, so she was okay. And then we walked around. They picked out 3 books to bring home. Theo got a Batman book. He's very excited. And then we left and we walked home and we stopped in for a treat. And I left a piece of bread on the counter, and now I feel like the cat probably ate it, and that sucks. Because she's like that. She loves bread. Can't leave any bread out on the counter. I have to tuck everything away. So, yeah, I'm going to go see about that because I am hungry, and I was saving it to have with some jam because there's scones from the Scottish bakery. So, let's go see what happened with that. And if Theo actually decided to take a nap because he was very tired. It was a big walk. It was we were gone for almost 3 hours when it was all said and done. So yeah, came home, had lunch, straight to bed. And I sat down to film this. So I hope it wasn't too rambly and all over the place and cohesive, and you enjoyed it. So be sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. And thanks for watching. Bye!